Welcome back to video notes for Unit 2. This is part 2. We left off last time at the end of Jacksonian legacy. We talked about the 5 big things that Andrew Jackson did, and then the big overarching story is that he personified the democratic spirit of that time. But he didn't personify everyone. You see, there were many people in the United States that disagreed with Andrew Jackson. What he did to the Bank of the United States, they thought, well, that was an attack on the government of the United States. He was a crazy small government guy. So there was a replacement party. There actually was two. The biggest one were the Whigs. The Whigs were a political party that believed in stronger national or federal, same thing, government than Andrew Jackson did. If you followed Andrew Jackson, you were a Democrat. Democratic Party today traces its roots to Andrew Jackson. But the main opposing party were the Whigs. They got their name from back in England, the party that attacked the king, because to them, Andrew Jackson was a king. The other party was the Know-Nothings. The Know-Nothings were a nativist party, which means a racist party. They were against the new immigrants that were coming to the United States. They were more of the traditional, many-generation, British heritage, usually people who thought these new people, they're not real Americans. Sometimes people would say, hey, are you one of those guys? Are you one of those nativist, racist guys? Hey, no, I know nothing, which is why they are called the Know Nothing. Now, together, this is the opposition to the Democrats. So Democrats, Andrew Jackson, Whigs, stronger federal government, and then a little bit Know Nothings, okay? And changing culture. Hey, I just said it. There's new immigration. New immigration comes from new places, from Ireland and from Germany, and they faced a lot of racism. I just showed you right there with the Know Nothings, a great example. Think about the name immigration, 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 Ireland, gration, German. There was a women's rights conference as well. Women's rights comes online in 1848, and it happens in upstate New York in a place called Seneca Falls. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott organized the Seneca Falls Convention in July of 1848, demanding women's rights. I mean, think about it. What we've learned so far in class notes, I believe there's only been one woman mentioned. That would be Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark's Native American Guide. Women demand to be heard in the United States. It starts at Seneca Falls. They write a document. That document is called the Declaration of Sentiments. Remember, that's a vocab word, an attitude or judgment prompted by feelings or emotions. Now, the Declaration of Sentiments was based off the Declaration of Independence. And if the Declaration of Independence took shots at the King of England, the Declaration of Sentiments takes shots at male-dominated society. Now, the right to vote, which is one thing they'd call for, will not come for many, many, many years. But it starts. It starts at Seneca Falls. What about abolitionism? Now, think about it. There's a couple of movements starting. As a new society, there's new movements. Abolitionism means the total end of slavery. Now, a big abolitionist was William Lloyd Garrison. William Lloyd Garrison's newspaper was called The Liberator. Most people viewed Garrison as an extremist. He didn't care. He said slavery was an extreme thing and needed to be stopped right away. Garrison was a very, very Christian man. His faith meant a lot to him. He thought, as did many, that slavery was a violation of basic Christian principles. And that's part of the reason he had such an issue with it. Hey, here's a way to remember it. Lloyd Liberator. He's got 2 L's in his middle name. Let's take one of them, first L, combine it with the name of his newspaper. William Lloyd Garrison, Lloyd Liberator. He wasn't the only abolitionist. Frederick Douglass also was an abolitionist. His newspaper was called the North Star. He was a runaway slave from Maryland. He escaped on a train using fake papers, but many runaway slaves escaped by looking at the North Star and using that as a guide to go north, to go to freedom. So, Frederick Douglass, North Star, William Lloyd Garrison, the Liberator. All right, Chapter 7. Let's rock. You're looking at a picture right now. This picture is Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny is the belief that America, right over here, here's America, should stretch from the Atlantic Ocean. Hey, right over here, here's the Atlantic Ocean. All the way across the continent to the middle America to the western part of what we think of the United States of America today. And connect from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Now, some people said, hey, whoa, what are we doing? There's already people over there. We're just going to take people's land? Manifest Destiny said yes. Manifest Destiny was a political and philosophical belief that America was elite, America was superior, and it wasn't just that America wants to go there, it was that it is America's responsibility to take land over. So, Manifest Destiny was not something that everyone just agreed with. It was a very, very controversial idea. But it means America will stretch from the east all the way to the west. Okay, but if you go there, you got to farm new lands. These lands will be tough to farm. Two big inventions comes out of this era. The first one was plows. The steel-edged plow was invented by this guy, John Deere. John Deere, a very famous company around today, got its start because of the steel-edged plow. Before, people would use wooden tools, and it wasn't very effective at breaking the ground to put the seeds in. Hey, you put the seeds in with your steel-edged plow. Invented by John Deere. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. Your seeds grow. It's time to harvest them. You're gonna pick them all? All right. You need a reaper. You need a gigantic mechanical reaper drawn by horses, and this axle spins, and it collects all of your grain harvest. Invented by this gentleman right here, Cyrus McCormick. Cyrus McCormick invents the mechanical reaper, along with John Deere, who has the steel plow, excuse me. Go away. Here we go. Now, independence movement for Texas. Texas was not part of the United States. Texas was part of Mexico. Wait, I thought Spain was over there. Ha ha ha. There was an independence movement. Mexico got rid of their colonial rulers, kicked Spain out. Mexico has this piece of property called Texas. Here it is. Doesn't look anything like what we think of Texas today. It was kind of empty. It was vacant. Mexico wanted to have settlers come and live in this land. So it recruited Americans from this kind of southwest area, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama. And they came over to Texas. And once they came, the Mexican government says, speak Spanish, be Catholic, and become Mexican citizens. The Texans say, absolutely no way. There's no way we're doing that. The Texans form an army. The Mexicans form an army, and we have a revolution, a Texas revolution. Sam Houston, Texas, Antonio Santa Anna, who was a famous Mexican general, fight, and the key battle of the Texan War was the Battle of the Alamo. At the Battle of the Alamo, every single Texan died. They fought to the last man, and the last man was killed. They all died. So it was a Mexican win, but forever after, people say, remember the Alamo. It becomes a rallying cry. It inspires many Texans, who then subsequently, after the battle, begin to win many, many, many victories, including huge victories, such as the Battle of San Jacinto, where 700 Mexicans died and 40 Americans died. With that, Mexico gives Texas its independence. What was that most famous battle? The Battle of the Alamo. They have their own country, the Republic of Texas. That's right, Texas was its own country. You see this flag? That ain't a state flag, baby. That's a country right there. And Texans haven't quite gotten over the fact that they were once a country. 7.4, war with Mexico. They're not going to be a country for long. James K. Polk, this guy, Democrat. Opposing party, this guy, Whig versus Democrat. This is Henry Clay. Run against each other, and James K. Polk will win in the election of 1844. He is a huge believer in manifest destiny. Polk wants to get as much land as is humanly possible, so the first place to get it, he says, is Oregon. There's a dispute over Oregon's border. This is the border today. This line I'm drawing right here is the 49th parallel. Polk wanted more. Polk wanted Oregon all the way to about right up here at the 5440 line. The phrase was 5440 or fight. Give us that 5440 line or we'll fight. Great Britain did not give the United States that line. and the United States did not fight. Well, okay, what about Texas? Texas will get annexed by the United States. Now, this is a big deal. This happens 8 years, maybe 9 years, off the top of my head, I can't think of it, after the Texas Revolution. When it happens, Texas becomes a slave state. So that's a big worry for a lot of people. There's sectional issues with Texas coming in, helping the South, hurting the North. But once you get Texas, Polk says, let's get more. Take a look at this map right here. You'll see right here is the Rio Grande River, right here. Above the Rio Grande River is the Nueces River. It's about right here. In between the Nueces River and the Rio Grande was disputed territory. Mexico said that's our land. The United States says that's our land. Polk sends forces, military forces stop right in the disputed land. They are attacked. Blood was spilt. Polk says blood has been spilt on American soil. Now the war is on. Very controversial. Was this war completely provoked? Many historians say yes. The United States provoked this war by putting troops in this disputed territory. All right, well, the war's on. And the war doesn't go well for Mexico. That's a loss. 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 They lose, and they lose bad. And soon they surrender, and they sign the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, in which so much land goes to the United States. Take a look. California, part of the United States. Nevada, part of the United States. Utah, part of the United States. Arizona, part of the United States. Parts of New Mexico, part of the United States. Parts of Colorado, United States. Here's Texas, but yeah, we already got Texas because of the Texas Revolution, or annexation, and it was just different, but look. California. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was 1848. 1 year later, gold is discovered and the gold rush is on in California. That's why they're the San Francisco 49ers, football team with gold helmets. Mexico loses a ton of land. This will set up a free state, slave state battle, but that is Unit 3. If you know nothing about the Mexican-American War, please remember that the United States got a ton of land in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. That was fun. What an honor it was to be with you electronically. I look forward to your success on this test, and I will see you in room 255.